TGT would like to dedicate this episode to the memory of John Bailey. May he rest in peace in the everlasting arms of Jesus Christ.
I'm from the city is still. I'm from the city is still. What is up, everybody? Appreciate you joining us. Welcome to Picksburgh. My name is Anthony. With me, I got my homeboy Alan, aka Bossman Bailey, CEO of Transparent Grading Team. We got below me, we got the Chef Marte down there. Giving him a thumbs down. He's just below me.
Did you just say below me?
I mean, it is Chef Marte, right?
It's a family-friendly show.
And he's below you. Isn't that fitting?
Shoe fits, right? We got Chef Marte in the house. My lifelong best buddy. Appreciate you being here as well. And we got my guy, Gate City Paul, down in the lower quadrant down there.
The beautiful
not below anybody.
Not yet, but Alan's weaseling his way over. Man, good to see you, brother. We got hip flipping mama in the house. Good
Hey,
to see
George
you.
is here too. Nice.
Hello.
Yep, we got George in the house. Grunt Dad Sports Cards, one of the most underrated sports cards channel out there.
I watched something from him today.
Yep, he keeps us on our toes with our pop report. We gotta make sure we're always hyperlinked.
Updated tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely appreciate you guys being here. Today's a awesome day. It's the first official episode of Pickin Apart The Hobby. So my vision for this show is going to be basically just me and the boys shooting the breeze, talking about different things that are happening in the hobby, in sports, just in life in general. We'll probably talk about TGT because we kind of like TGT, in case you guys hadn't noticed. It's kind of a thing around us.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool, those guys. Yeah, they're not bad.
The funny thing about TGT is I was at a show yesterday here in Pittsburgh, and we were set up. And there's this dude that came by the booth, and like he was getting ready to do a submission and everything. He's like, yeah, let me think about walk around. And so he's like walking over to this guy, and I happen to weasel over because I knew this guy has like wrestling cards and stuff. So like I'm working my way over. And next thing I know, I hear him go, what do you know about this TGT? Are these guys any good, or should I only send a PSA? I was like, dude, TGT sucks, man. You don't want to send them nothing.
Yeah.
Which is funny because there I am in all my like TGT gear, and I'm like literally right next to the guy. But it's one of those funny moments, you know what I mean, where you have with people. But it's good stuff. But yeah, definitely appreciate you guys all being here. Just a quick update. We did have a show yesterday here in Pittsburgh that we went to, took some missions, picked up some heat. I know Chef Marte picked up a pretty big banger there in the football world. I was out there picking up I've been picking up so much wrestling, guys, lately. It's insane. But before we really dive in, like, you guys kind of want to go around, talk a little bit about anything you're picking up, any guys you're big on that you think people could benefit from, maybe grabbing their stuff, maybe, see it, multiply. Obviously, we're not in, the booming days of the COVID-19 where like every single day we're seeing like cards doubling and stuff. But if you pick the right guy, you can still make decent money in it, even within the season. So, Alan, I know you were saying that there was a few guys you were kind of hot to on basketball. Yeah. And right now it's a great time to sell some basketball.
Yeah, I'd be selling Tyler Hero if I had any Tyler Hero, or if you could get him for the right price, I would be picking up and selling Tyler Hero. Also, you've seen an increase in his value right now based off his 22.8 PPG. And then also Zion is another pickup. I'm sure Chef Marte is on that bandwagon. Seeing he's heard everyone's on the 385-pound Zion. So I would think he's a good pickup.
More of them to love.
Yeah, more of them to love. Get that guy. And then this is a hometown pickup who we said before the year was started was going to be the ROY. And we said Evan Mobley from the hometown Cleveland Cavaliers over there. That's a nice pickup too. Long-term investment, long-term.
That's my boy, man. Yeah.
KG upside.
Yep. There's been a lot of people that have actually come out and said that he's like the second coming of Garnett, which is amazing because Garnett was like one of the main reasons the Timberwolves are like one of my favorite teams growing up.
Yeah.
And now I have one in Cleveland, which is even better.
Yeah. He was over here for a year. I saw him at SC, so I already knew what he had.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thanks to Chef Marte. I actually just got a big stack of USC Mobley's yesterday, Marty.
Something like that. I don't know. It was the Chronicles draft stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So pretty pumped about that. Yeah. Any other like basketball players that you guys are big on, Marty or Paul? Like any guys that
I've been buying anything I can find. Moran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that dude is definitely the truth. He's like the one guy that I would say that I would consider collecting that's not a Cavalier or a Steeler because I like him that much.
Yeah. We saw him. He was explosive, man. That dude was.
Shout out to Hot Hands Antonella for taking me to go see him in person, which was awesome. First ever Laker game, and I got to see my favorite non-Cavalier, which was really, really awesome.
What do you guys think about him? Like, if he ever leaves Memphis and goes to like a big market, do you think his value skyrockets?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Like if he comes to like the Lakers, imagine like if they added him instead of like a Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Game over.
Thank you. I wish. But even if he goes to like the Knicks, his value goes up because of the market. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Marty's right, hitting the nail on the head on that. Just pick him up if the price is right. Pick up and hold, man, because he's got superstar written all over him.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you believe in him long term too. Because if I were to tell you like in 2004, like LeBron James has a promising rookie year. If I were to say like we're talking like him, Kobe, and Jordan for like being the top 3 of all time, like would you go out like with like his inflated prices in 2004? With basically he came in as like the chosen one. Would you have then gone out and invested heavy? Knowing, like that you believe he could be like a top 3 talent, like of all time, because I mean, really, like that's theoretically what I mean. I'm not saying John Morant has that type of capabilities, but if you believe in a guy like that, you know what I mean? Like, then I would definitely grab a bunch of their stuff like early and often.
Right, but that can bite you in the butt because I'll give you a comp, something like that. There was another ROI that came in for the Kings, I believe. Did he start with the Kings? It was Tyreek Evans. He came in and he was averaging like 19, 6, and 6, right? Or 26 and 6. And this guy just fell off the planet. He's not even in the league,
Yeah.
So if you're putting that much star value, they thought he was the next coming of Grant Hill, right? 25 and 5, I think he averaged, something like that. So you got to be very careful about who you're picking up because it could have the Grant Hill or the T-Mac effect, the injury bug.
I know Marty was kind of going back to Jeff for a minute. Like, I don't remember where you said you heard this comparison, but you said somebody like described him as like a young, like second year Derrick Rose or like whatever year he like won like, the MVP. Like, could you imagine like where we'd be talking about Derrick Rose on the all-time list if he never got hurt? Like, and to even give Ja like even that type of rarefied air in his 3rd season is like insane.
Oh, 100%.
But that was like wasn't that like a I don't want to say credible source, but like as if we're not credible, but like more so than like a small YouTube channel.
It was more of a national stage. I'll try to find the article and link it later.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. I'll put it in the description too if I remember afterwards, guys.
I know one thing I can tell you with collecting, just to bring up the point, where you're talking about investing into a lot of different things of him. I kind of like the whole idea of mitigating risk. Mm-hmm. So, like, I try to get 1 or 2 cards, like 1 card of pretty much all the good younger players, like something unique. Typically, I don't do a whole lot of base at this point. But I try to find something new or, like something of each of the newer, younger players that are coming in just to kind of spread out that risk. And if one of them hits, man, it's going to pay itself off in no time.
Yeah, that is smart too. And then if it looks like it's kind of not going the right way, you can either, get out at like a minimal loss or, if you get burnt, you get burnt on like a small investment,
Well, I kind of learned that from you, actually. I call it the Sekou Demboya effect.
Dude, I was buying into breaks with like Detroit heavy that year.
The
Man.
Pistons.
Like, oh,
Sekou.
I'm never gonna live that down. But yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah,
and I'm still paying for it because like I haven't got any Sekou's back from PSA yet either.
Nope.
So
and he's on the Lakers Seahawks.
That's it, Lakers. Got my guy Dakota in the house, Sports Cards Anonymous. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, make sure you go check him out. He's live every Friday nights for Sports Cards and Chill. Appreciate you being here, my guy. But yeah, George was saying that he thinks Zach LaVine and DeRozan are undervalued, especially if they make a deep playoff run. And I could see that because the Bulls, man, like they're an up and coming team this year. I mean, like I feel like the additions they've made, like not only with those two, but with like Vooch and Lonzo. I think that they have, Caruso, the GOAT. Yeah. See, Alan knows. Like you see all the pride that just came up in him right there.
I know Caruso.
That's Paul's guys
that
too.
was probably the biggest mistake the Lakers made is let him go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
I'm surprised they did, man. He was still young. Like I feel like he has a lot to like offer, like any team really. He's definitely a good role player too.
I mean, we need someone like that off the bench, and we just don't have it. If you're a Lakers guy, there's just none of that energy, none of that defensive presence. Like his mind works in a different way when he's on the court. Like you could see some of these guys right now, they just are lackadaisical. It sucks, being the Laker guy. They just kind of are chill and coasting through like I figured they would the first 20 games.
Senior citizens, man.
Yeah. Well,
but they got a big game tonight with Charlotte. So
Charlotte, yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Hello.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Dakota, he goes, Randall and Ball are killing it. Lakers, let them both go. Yep. The Lakers, like, it seems like outside of like early, because the Showtime Lakers, they were homegrown, right? With the exception of Kareem, correct? But
yes,
for the most part, yeah.
For most of it, yes.
It seems like minus like the whole Kobe, because Kobe obviously is a lifer with the Lakers. Seems like they like to bring a lot of transplants in more so than build their own. Is that correct in like their modern franchise?
I think that's the way that the NBA is going these days. Is you don't see these long-term players who get drafted and spend their whole careers in one team or maybe two teams or something like that. I mean, you see these guys, as much as they say they're trying to chase a championship, they're more than anything else, they're chasing the dollar. They're chasing the money, and some of them, they'll take a little bit less money to form a power 3 or a power 2 or in some cases power 4, and I don't think you're going to see players sit on one team for long periods of times. I think everybody is going to jump from team to team to team now, either chasing money or chasing a championship. They're not going to. These times of teams being down to rebuild, I think the big market teams are just going to start scooping up some of these players, and Memphis is always going to be here with the Knicks and Lakers, and the high market teams are always going to be here, and those guys are always going to be going to those teams. What sucks because teams like San Antonio now, they're not going to be able to take a draw. Charlotte, they're not going to be able to draw anybody in. I mean, I don't see if LaMelo stays with the Hornets past his first contract, I'd be very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And that's surprising, even with like Michael Jordan, like basically being the owner there. Such a rich history of like collegiate basketball, because you figure not only North Carolina, but you got Duke there as well. And I'm not sure where they're located in reference to Charlotte, but I know they're at least in the same state. So like I know how rich basketball is there, so I'm like real surprised that like that wouldn't be a more exciting market, because they've already even lost the team before, and then they had to come back via expansion.
Yep.
The Bobcats.
The Charlotte Bobcats. I mean, where's Grunt Dad? I'll answer. Or who? Dakota said Randall and Ball, right? So Randall, they didn't pay Randall because they were trying to do like this fake out thing where they were going to let teams sign the offer for him, and then they were going to sign an offer sheet, but then Rondo became available for the same price, so they took the Rondo route and let him walk. And then Ball left in the deal with Ingram, Lonzo and Hart for AD.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that worked out quite well for us, seeing as the Pelicans no longer have Lonzo Ball. So, it just worked out that way. But I definitely think Paul's on something with the higher markets drawing in, like the Blazers, for example, right? And Memphis. I always say this: they're never going to win a championship. Okay, I'll just because their talent doesn't stay.
Right.
It doesn't.
Giannis would beg to differ, though.
That's different.
That is true. That
Giannis,
is perfect example. Because honestly, I would have said Giannis is never going to win with the Bucks up until
Right, but look at this. People are going to be more apt to go play with Giannis than they will to go play with Morant or Ball or something like that.
Giannis
built himself a legacy in his team, and people wanted to go play with him. Whereas you see some of these other people, nobody wanted to go play with the Westbrook. Westbrook finally had to go play with somebody else. Things like that.
That's such a different comparison. I think.
But I'm just saying,
is so.
Durant. Wait, Durant. Okay, how about Durant going to the Warriors? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Enough
That's
said.
the thing. You've got the players that people will go play with: Curry, LeBron, Giannis, things like that. They're players that will have to go play. They'll have to go play with somebody. You know what I mean?
And the thing was, Milwaukee. It wasn't like a one-hit wonder story. They got to the playoffs with the best record like 2 straight years, right? And then they were missing a piece. Okay, they needed help. They had a team, but they were missing something. And then they kind of they were floating under the radar because the Sixers had the best record. The Suns were a good story. The Utah Jazz were a good story. And then they brought in the missing piece, Drew Holiday, who's a top defender at his position and can score 18 a night. That was the difference. Him and Bledsoe are like night and day.
Yeah.
When it comes to overall play and fitting with the team.
And I completely agree with what Grunt Dad's saying down there. It is too early to tell, but I mean, what it takes is essentially a transcendent talent to build around, and then a smart front office that's good at drafting and/or can swing the right trade.
Right, exactly. It's like the Dirk Nowitzki in Dallas, right? They brought in an old Jason Kidd. They brought in Tyson Chandler for defense. They brought in, whoever to work around. So that's what they could do with Morant. But is Memphis going to spend the money?
Have you guys noticed that there's some franchises that almost are a little bit more like friendly towards like a lifer, like the Lakers were with Kobe, or like the Mavericks were with Dirk, or even the Spurs being like one of those like lifelong type organizations.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like you could almost kind of say that a little bit with like Marc Gasol was kind of like one of their resident like lifers in most recent history, but I don't really know if he's a fair enough comparison towards Ja. Kind of like Grunt Dad saying, but I mean, Ja has the ability to be transcendent. Like, imagine Derrick Rose if he hadn't have hurt his knee. But then again, Chicago is a bigger market anyway because made that sound electric. So I guess that's not really a fair comparison either. But
I'm just more surprised about how many players aren't taking pay cuts to go play with Dallas guy, your guy,
Luka Doncic, my man.
Doncic. I can't believe people aren't dropping to go play with him, because that's a talent you build around. And why people aren't running to Dallas to play to be a part of that. That's amazing to me. It's like, I mean, he is a transcendent talent that people would kill to play with, and I just can't believe people aren't flocking down there.
I'm shocked they're not they got to make a move. They got to move Porzingis. I mean, he's the only guy of any value other than Luka, maybe Hardaway, but you don't want to get rid of the shooter for Luka's purposes unless you make the move right. Like, I even told Anthony this. I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to make a move with the Wizards and try and bring Beal in to help Luka out. Maybe a Porzingis and Tim Hardaway for Beal and my boy Davis Bertans or something like that. Just floor spacing. Give Luka more floor spacing. Give him some aid in the ball handling department. Beal solves all that, and it gives them a 1-2 punch that's desperately needed in the West. So
And Porzingis certainly wasn't that help that they needed either.
No, he's not a fit with Luka. He's a lifer outside the 3-point line. You need someone else that can ball handle and take pressure off Luka because he's not the most fleet of foot athlete per se.
I would love to see what Bradley Beal would look like on a more competent franchise. Like nothing against the Wizards, but like they've not proven to me that they're a competent franchise, like in the way that they've played basketball in the last, I don't know.
No.
Eternity.
and Wall is still John Wall's still available. Does he have anything in the tank? Who knows?
Not a that contract.
No. But someone could use his talent, but not with that price. You're right. It's a massive price.
Yeah, he's what, $40 million annually?
I think it's 38, something like that. He's like Mike Connolly money. Mike Connolly is like at 39. It's crazy what that guy gets. So
I feel you, Grunt Dad. Like that's the same way it is in Cleveland too. Like that was the issue they had. That's why they gave Kevin Love that horrible contract that he has. Because literally they were like, okay, well, we just lost Kyrie. Now LeBron's leaving. Like we need to lock up some form of like all-star type caliber talent before like no one even comes to our games anymore.
Yeah, no one wants to go.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the Mavs probably are faced with, you know. Like I think their one bargaining chip is that they do have Luka Doncic, who could be like, you know, the LeBron James of the league, you know, 5 to 10 years from now or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine
their assets so much in that Porzingis trade, man. It's going to be hard to get somebody there.
True. So as far as football, who do you guys like there? Is there any players that you guys are like real high on right now?
I'm buying the dip right now, dude. I'm Baker Mayfield hunting all day. Like just because his cards are so low, I mean, I've been looking the last couple of days, and I call it a Darnoldian fall.
Yeah.
He's literally hitting Sam Darnold levels of like just value. I mean, and he's actually talented. I've seen enough from him. I don't think he's ever going to be, league MVP, but it's a quarterback-driven league. To me, I think he's a no-brainer. And I'll tell you, a couple more bad games out of Mahomes, I'm probably going to be buying that dip too.
Yeah,
that's I'm picking off any Mahomes that comes in my price range.
Yeah, I you know what, I actually like Baker too. It's just like for me, it's so hard to like invest in a Brown, but Baker's
all day. Same city.
It's different because the Cavs aren't a direct rival of my favorite team.
See, now I see this. Sam Darnold is greater than Baker. We're going to agree to disagree on that one. I don't know if you watched that New England game this past, the New England Carolina game. That was rough. I played the Patriots defense. I am not a Sam Darnold supporter right now. Grunt Dad, I will back you on that. I think Wentz is criminally underrated.
I would agree. The only reason I don't mess with Wentz is like he burnt me one year in fantasy, and ever since if you burn me in fantasy like one time, you're like dead to me for like life.
That's funny. I'm going to piggyback off that Wentz. I think another player that it's not the sexy name, but is having a really good year is Jonathan Taylor with 1H. Jonathan Taylor with 1H.
Wait, there's no H, right?
No H, 1H, all
no
H. How many H's? However many you want to give him. He can have 1, 2, 4, but that guy is having a really nice, quiet year under the radar. I think just because the Colts don't get any play because it's whatever it is.
I'm so glad I drafted that dude in my one.
Yeah, he's killing it, and your boy Connor's killing it too.
I know, dude.
Yes.
I'm feeling so vindicated because it's like first like Anderson Varejao comes out of retirement last season, and now this season like I get ridiculed unmercifully in 3 consecutive fantasy drafts for drafting James Conner, and he leads the league in touchdowns.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
A high ankle sprain. He thought nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Touché. I love me some Jimmy James Conner.
Yeah, so he's doing great.
Yeah, and secretly, I heard he changed his number to 6 this year because I was born on the 6th. So,
oh, geez, here we go.
There's that fun fact for you as well.
Here we go.
This is the part where you hit that doo-doo brown emoji.
Oh yeah. For anybody who's new and hasn't been a fart.
There you go. Wait.
Brown.
Brown. There it is.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah.
Any other? Let's see. Speaking of the fantasy league, who's on top of the board? So we're in 3 different ones, Dad. So all I know is that I'm like pretty much mediocre at best in all 3. Like I hit on the James Conner and Antonio Brown resurgences. Other than that, I'm pretty flat. Well, that's not true. There are some other like decent players I have, but like
I've tanked over the last 2 years or 2 weeks.
Oh.
I had Russell Wilson who went out. I had Derrick Henry who went out. And then I had Odell Beckham who got cut. So
and look at what that makes. Are you ready? Look at wait. Russell.
No, 3.
No, watch. Wait. I'm getting there. Wait. Russell, Henry, and Odell. There it is. There it goes. There it went.
I'm only running one team, but I think I get Russell back next week.
Oh, nice.
Russell comes back next week. So I was been piecing together quarterbacks for the last 6 weeks between Burrow, Baker, and what's his name, Jones and
Mac Jones.
Not Mac Jones. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. I've been piecing together with the 3 of them, and all 3 of them did poorly this week. But I ended up playing Burrow this week and didn't fare very well.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same
Mac
boat.
Jones too.
Yeah, some Mackie Jones. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, my league is very spaced. The guy in first is like, I think he's 6-2, and then everyone else is like 4-4, and then the guy in dead last is like 1-7. He's like awful. So I need like Khalil Herbert to get me like 4 points tonight, which he should, but it's against your Steelers. So just give me 4 points, and the Steelers can win. I don't give a crap.
I'm okay with that. I'll give him 40 rushing yards.
That's fine. That's fine.
Speaking of Steelers, is there any truth to the rumors that they are somehow trying to entertain Rodgers to come there when he finishes his contract in Green Bay?
I sure hope so.
Yes, I hear it.
Sign me up for that, please.
I hear it.
I heard that twice this week already. That when Rodgers' contract ends, that he likes Tomlin very, very much, and I guess he likes the scheme that he runs. And Roethlisberger is probably on his way out. So
as long as we upgrade that offensive line before he gets here, I think that's a great move.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, here's a question to everyone for fantasy football purposes. If you had to pick one of the 3 to roll with, like kind of throughout the end of the year, do you roll with Jalen Hurts, right? Mac Jones or Trevor Siemian?
Mac Jones for me all day.
Mac Jones?
Although it's hard to say because you get Jalen Hurts has the rushing ability, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like Hurts, like he gets a lot of points in garbage time too, which is helpful, obviously.
Yeah, what about the Trevor with like 302 touchdowns and then 302? Like, do you think it's just?
I remember him on the Broncos, so maybe I just have a bad taste in my mouth. Plus, he still has Taysom Hill there. Like, you have to think that with the contract they gave Taysom Hill, they're going to use him a little bit more than they have been.
That's what I thought.
I could imagine. Good to say what's up to my boy Blaze McCoy. Appreciate you being here, my guy. We got Spider in the house as well. He said everyone passed on Tom Brady, but he is still killing it in fantasy this year. I completely agree, man.
Yes.
I kind of wish this guy would just like act his age. You know what I mean? Like, you ever hear somebody tell that to a kid? Like, I kind of wish this like grizzled, graying old man would act his age and just retire. You know, because you know how many Super Bowls didn't come to Pittsburgh because that guy was in the league?
It hurts.
Like, we would have like so many more Lombardi trophies if Tom Brady just didn't ever exist. Tally's in the house. What is up, my guy?
Uh-oh.
See you, brother.
I'll go hide all my Trey Lances now.
He's really only here for those Trey Lances.
I know.
We got to get you some more of those Treys, my man.
I have one.
Dude,
We pulled one.
You have one. Yes.
We pulled one.
Yes.
Oh, that's so bad.
Dude,
That's
speaking of which, I don't know if you noticed this, but like my Friarmouth had like a doo-doo strip on the auto. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't see it.
You didn't take a doo-doo on my Friarmouth?
Why would I do that? Maybe Podgy left you a gift.
It actually did have like it had like the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a lollipop, like if you leave it on somehow it leaves like a sticky residue.
Oh.
Like it was like the first time I've ever seen something like that, like on the autograph. It was, like,
Yeah, that was Podgy. Yeah.
Dang, Podgy. And I feel like I've been like his agent of sorts, like getting him out and walked more often.
Yeah.
You guys don't know Podgy is Alan's dog, who like literally I'll text Alan at like 6:14 in the morning his time and be like, yo, Podgy needs to go drop a dude. Why are you still in bed? Get up and make us some money, bro. So Spider says, whose current vote for NFL Rookie of the Year? Yeah, I would definitely say Yep.
Jamar Chase.
Yep. Anybody else you guys would think? I mean,
I haven't been paying
right
attention
now
so
with the
much.
Najee Harris coming up in the second half.
Yeah, Najee's on the second burner right now, dude. If he has a blowout, like second half, like start blowing up, because he's close. He's close. If he has a big game tonight, he's in that same conversation.
I would love to see it be Najee.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, his first half was, I wouldn't say a bust, but I mean that team is just so little around him on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Mac's good, but he's kind of playing that game manager role.
Yep.
You know, it's not like, you know, he's not the Justin Herbert of last year going out and throwing for 300 plus every game with that cannon, you know?
Right. And Fields just isn't. They don't have the confidence in him to put him in a full-time role yet. You know, I don't think he's got his full playbook. So I think Justin Fields is even in the conversation right now.
Yeah, like Mac could be based on just wins. That's the only problem. Yeah, see, the fact that he's getting wins is a boost, but Jamar Chase is he could break all the records of receiving and for a rookie. So you got to kind of monitor that too.
True.
So.
Absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, I would just say like Jamar probably has more of like a consistent body of work over the season than Najee, because Najee had some lackluster games. Now, granted, like the Steelers' offensive line is like garbage. Like, he could probably get in there and like play better, like as their offensive line as certain games. So, like, I don't want to talk smack on my Steelers or Najee Harris, but yeah, I mean, he definitely has a shot. Like, especially if he keeps playing the way he has been the past few weeks, like he definitely very well could be the offensive, player of the rookie, I should say, of the year. Yep, I agree, Grunt Dad. He says 90 out of 100 times awards will go to QB.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just such an important position. You know, it's so hard to like weigh anything else up against it.
Yeah. So, I think for Najee, I mean, what kind of numbers do you think he'd have to put up realistically to take Rookie of the Year? I mean, you got to imagine he'd have to have at least 1,200 yards and double-digit touchdowns, don't you think?
That was literally the metrics I was going to say. It would have to be pretty much that minimum, I would think.
Yeah. Sorry, I just typed that in as you.
Big plays, so.
But that's what Chase has got right now, if you could see that. 44 receptions, 835 yards, and 7 TDs as of right now.
Damn, that's impressive.
That's what he's got now. Let me see if I can find Najee.
Unuseful, what's up, my man? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you being here. So, yeah, I mean, it's really about halfway through the season, and he's close to, if you were to double that, he'd be close to 100 catches and 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns. Like, that's definitely – that would be a Pro Bowl season for, one of the best receivers in the league.
And
we're running back 1,500-plus yards on a playoff team. Yeah. So Najee right now is at 79, 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Definitely has
some receptions and receiving yards on as well.
37 receptions.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And 273 yards.
What's up, Jason? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you being here.
There we go. I got that too. So.
Any receiving touchdowns, or was it just all rushing?
Let me look. Hold on. He's got two receiving touchdowns.
Okay, so in theory, 5 TDs for the year.
Yeah,
Yep.
total 5 right now.
So 479 plus 273. So I mean, honestly, they're reasonably close if you count
740,
yards, like with his catches and like everything. Like Chase has him by a little bit.
Yep, 752 and 5. But here's the funny thing: he's got 37 receptions. Harris, Jamar only has 7 more receptions than him.
Yeah. True.
So, that's pretty wild if you think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a per touch basis, Chase is killing it though.
Yeah, well, he gets crazy averages because he's catching like 40-yard freaking bombs.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, I love Joe Burrow's long-term future with that kid. I think that's going to be a special connection.
Mm-hmm.
It was already special in college, so just building off of that college connection is really cool. I kind of wish that James Washington and Mason Rudolph would have found that here in Pittsburgh. No such luck, though, apparently, huh?
Yeah, we missed out on that one.
Future's not as bright here, huh?
No.
At least not at quarterback. Grunted says a good rookie season for a quarterback, a really great season for a running back or receiver, going back to the QB reference. Yeah.
I agree with that, but with one caveat. We've seen a couple really special rookie seasons from quarterbacks in the last few years. Like, look at Herbert's season last year. Like, is that going to change the perception? Like, if a quarterback doesn't hit numbers that are like, let's say 80% of what a Herbert did, or is that going to be looked at as a disappointment?
Possible.
Yeah, I mean, they have been setting the bar pretty high. I mean, honestly, I'm a little bit down on this year's crop of quarterbacks, but then again, look at the last crop we just had. You know what I mean? Like it, but I mean, not saying there's anything wrong with this crop we have. It's just that, like, I feel like we were spoiled by Herbert. And then even before that, you still had Kyler Murray, and then before that, you had like Lamar Jackson and Baker, and who else was in 18?
Josh Allen,
right? Yeah, and then Patrick Mahomes before that. So it's like we've had some very stellar quarterbacks coming in the league.
And I think that is going to create the issue of sticking with quarterbacks until we get a down year in quarterbacks where we have just rookie quarterbacks who don't perform at all.
Could be this coming year.
Before you get to where they'll have a somebody else besides the quarterback as a rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm. She said Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's what she said.
She picks Trevor all the time. We always get him.
Yeah, she says Trevor.
Trevor.
Lots of Trevor.
By the way, big happy birthday to Tally's daughter.
Sure.
Shout out.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Trevor.
Appreciate you being here, my man. We'll be doing a video on our card group submission. Once it's done, if you want your cards added to like one of the reveal videos I do, I can do that. Typically what we normally do with anything that comes through my group stuff is as soon as it's like, say yours are done, we'll just ship yours like right away typically. So if you want me to include that in one of the videos, I can. That wouldn't be a problem. The more the merrier. Certainly could.
So, Anth, have you? I noticed that you've been picking up kind of a lot of oddball stuff lately, like not a major sports cards.
Obscure is the word, Marty. Obscure.
Yes, that is exactly it. I apologize.
Yeah, David Faustino. Yes.
or how about dumb shit?
Yeah, that one's good too.
Yes, it has definitely been called that by more than one person, actually.
But you know what? You like what you like. You know what I mean?
I literally picked up a chrome Helen Keller when I was out with Alan in LA.
Oh, you did? I saw it.
A chrome Helen Keller, bro.
Yeah,
like,
strong. And a George Washington, I think, right? You saw George Washington.
I got a Gowdy George Washington. Like, I got a Ben Franklin, Allen and Ginter. Like, dude, I've been picking up the weirdest stuff. Like, I literally have each member of the Bundy families. Which one, Mark?
Jaleel.
Oh, yeah. I got a really sick Jaleel White auto. Technically, it's a Marty hand-me-down because he upgraded, so... Here's what I love more than anything. Like when Marty gets awesome cards, because I always get his hand-me-downs. So, like, yes, I have a really, really sweet Jaleel White coming up in this next group submission. So you guys will definitely see that. Not saying that I think there's going to be like any like big rush to like people wanting to like buy Jaleel White autographs or David Faustino's or like anything pop culture. It's just like, I think it's cool. You know what I mean? So like my thing is like whether Helen Keller's card's ever worth anything, I think it's kind of cool that I have a card of Helen Keller because it's like the weirdest thing ever. Like who else do you know that has a card of Helen Keller and is like pumped up about it? This is like the equivalent of driving down the street bumping Backstreet Boys in 2021 as a card.
That's normal.
You know what I mean? So like that's the type of stuff I like to collect.
Yeah,
I'm that weirdo driving down the road singing
Marty,
I want it
Marty,
that way, you know?
Marty, I just want to remind you that that's your best friend.
Yeah.
Facts.
Oh, but you got to see what he drives down the road singing. He's had some very majestic songs sung in his car.
I consider myself something.
Yes, that's a tan for sure. It's a tan.
It's a tank. It's clean.
Clean, real clean.
Cleanest I've ever seen.
I've ever seen.
Got my guy Michael Ham in the house.
On the wrestling, right, Ance?
Oh heck yeah! I've been picking up a ton of wrestling lately.
And I see now I would not classify this day and age wrestling as oddball. Now I think that there is, you know, it's starting to cross over into, because of the popularity of it. You know, you've got two distinct shows now, or two distinct companies with some hangarounds and stuff like that. I think that is driving some collectability back into some of the wrestling memorabilia, because before you really didn't have anything to, you know, it's like, oh, it's, you know, just one company now, but now you've got two distinct companies that's not only creating, you know, viewership competition, but I think now in some of the toys and memorabilia and things like that, it's starting to generate some traction in, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that wrestling's is not really oddball anymore.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, I think all combat sports right now, like even UFC, like with it being the first year of like Prism and Select for UFC, like even that stuff is like outrageously popular right now. So I think like combat sports, like as a whole, like being that like kind of what we're seeing with basketball having and soccer even having such a big emergence in the hobby, those combat sports are also like global sports. You know what I mean? And they continue to expand into different areas of the world that, you know, might not have been well served with those options before. And like, you know, I think that's something that's going to make that like very, very attractive to people. Right. And here's something else I was talking to Marty about. Like he knows this because the card I'm going to bring up, I bought off of him. Like I have a Ric Flair autograph that he bought as a raw card on eBay, or I don't even know where you bought it, but basically he bought that for like fractions of what you would get like a LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, any number of like, say the top 25 basketball players or top 25 football players or top 25 baseball players. So like the number you're going to get a Ric Flair auto at, and this is going to be controversial, but Ric Flair, I feel, has done more. I mean, I'm a wrestling guy, but Ric Flair has done more for like pop culture, even within other sports. Like you see, like the Colts when they won the championship, they're out there wooing like Ric Flair and stuff like that. So I think long term, like that dude holds like so much value because, like,
I mean, he's a cultural icon. You know what I mean?
There might be like even on terms of like just wrestling ability alone. There might be only like 2 or 3 other people you can mention in the same breath with Ric Flair. But then once you talk about pop culture and like what he's done even outside of the ring, like he's just like an icon, you know? So like the fact that you can get like an autograph of like a Ric Flair, or like, for example, we were talking about Baker Mayfield earlier, and there's a lot of people down on Baker. Right before he fell and hurt his arm for the last time, I ended up trading I had like an SGC. It was like a 9, might have been a 9.5, something like that. It was an autograph of Baker from his rookie year. I ended up trading that for a Sting auto, basically straight up. And it's like, I like Baker. Don't get me wrong. I do like Baker, but it's like Sting is literally probably one of the top 20 professional wrestlers of all time. And like, I just locked down a graded auto of his for a quarterback that literally might be like the next Vinny Testaverde. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And nothing against Vinny Testaverde, but Vinny Testaverde, I wouldn't say is a top 20 of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I like Vinny Testaverde. When me and Marty were growing up, we had a lot of fun calling him Vinny Testicles, but I wouldn't exactly want to be holding on to his rookie card, hoping it was going to pay for my retirement at this point. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things, like where I just felt like it was the safer long-term hold. And honestly, for me, like even if Sting like goes Chris Benoit tomorrow, which like God forbid something like that would happen, like I would still care more about having a really cool wrestling card than I would a quarterback that plays for a team that I don't like. You know what I mean? So if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Viv said it made sense.
Yep.
As long as it makes sense to Viv, then the rest of the audience would understand.
So, yeah.
Art says, what's up, guys? Anthony, will you be doing... Oh, wait. Oh, I think I read this already. Yeah, I definitely can, Art. I definitely can. Jason, we will definitely let you know for sure in your dashboard on the website, unless it's like something that didn't go through the website.
I think it's there.
Okay, I was going to say normally I would just ask Marty, but he's here right now, so
it's a re.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. It got there. Yeah,
gotcha.
It got there.
We got Jonathan Dortch in the house. What is up, my guy? Good to see you. But yeah, Marty's definitely the MVP at the office. So everybody that gets that good quality stuff back, it's all Chef Marte. They're slaving over that slab press.
Yeah,
so he's the real hero behind everything.
Just the grind, man. It's just trying to figure out, systems in place to make the best possible product we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of which, TGT stuff, this upcoming weekend, guys, we have a brand new show we're going to over in Virginia Beach for the first time. It's going to be a Virginia Beach Cards and Collectibles Expo, I believe is what they're calling it.
Yep.
Let me see if I have a flyer for it or whatever. I can get you the exact info. But if anyone's in the Virginia Beach area, we definitely want to invite you guys to come out and hang out with us at the show. I'll be going live, so you guys will see some live TGT coverage at the show. I did have a shout out to This The Breaks. He gave a comment on the video from yesterday today, and he said he'd like to see more footage at our booth, like interactions with people come up and stuff like that. So maybe I'll try that this time, see how that goes. I know a lot of people do like, okay, there we go. Let me make you big.
They actually have us on their thing as the only grading at the show. There you go.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And they've gone through. Oh Jesus, there we go. And they've gone through kind of what we're expecting prior to submissions here. So it's in their little post right here. Beautiful. What's the best way to fill it out? Create your online dashboard. The code is going to be there. All that stuff. That'll be an active code for the weekend. I'll set that up, before that day. So. Already there.
That's the same guy from the Jacksonville show, right?
No, this is actually this is another guy who's friends with Thomas from Jacksonville. Yeah. So big shout out again to Thomas down there who runs the Jacksonville, North Carolina shows, because he's the one that actually gave us the good word to go be a part of this one in Virginia Beach. Yeah. He's going to actually be having a show in Wilmington, North Carolina on December 4th, I believe. I'll share more about that in our Facebook group as well. If any of you guys aren't a member of our Facebook group, let me grab a link to that, because we share a lot about TGT in there. We share a lot about what's going on with YouTube and, anything like shows and stuff that we're going to be at. Mm-hmm. Typically share any local Pittsburgh and Ohio shows that are coming up, because normally if I'm in town those weeks, I like to go to those, like to get to as many local, hobby events as I can, just to try to show some support.
Well, you guys got a big game coming up in about 30 minutes.
We do.
Yeah.
We're going to probably try to keep this show to about an hour every week, guys. So if you have any questions on TGT, any exciting hobby things that have been going on you guys want to talk about, one thing we kind of want to do is we want to be sensitive to the chat. Anything you guys want to talk about on a weekly basis, we want to make sure we cover as well. So any last minute questions you guys have before we get ready to wrap it up, because my Steelers are getting ready to beat down the Bears. Mr. Breaks, what is going on, my man? Just gave you a shout out a couple minutes ago. Your ears must have been ringing.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate you being here. But yeah, we'll be doing this every Monday night. It'll end right before Monday Night Football every single week. So we'll kind of be like your pregame warm-up. We're going to be talking about sports cards. We're going to be talking about just sports in general. We're going to be talking about TGT, the hobby. Like basically, there's nothing off limits. And you're going to get the raw and uncut, like how we feel about it. You know what I mean? You might even catch us talking some mess some weeks. You never know. You know, there might be some hot takes.
Not us.
Not us. Never.
Yeah, not us.
Not us. Nope.
Jonathan's pulling for them Bears tonight. Well, good luck to your Bears, but
well, the question is,
hoping they lose.
well, the question is, what's the roundtable going with tonight? What's the consensus? You know, what's your picks tonight?
We should probably do that, kind of like they do on like the pregame warm.
24-21 Steelers tonight.
Yeah.
24-21 Steelers. Najee Harris, 87 yards rushing and a touchdown. How's that? Bank it.
What do you think, Paul?
Bank it.
Just because I know what the rest of you are going to say, and I'm always the odd man out, and because I've seen the Steelers fall apart in person, I'm going to go with the Bears.
Bears.
The Bears.
Prediction. Fantasy prediction. What do we got for that?
You know what? I was actually going to predict ahead of time that tonight I think Najee's going to get 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, and the Steelers win score?
And the Steelers win. The score is going to be 14-17.
Ooh.
Steelers.
23-16 Steelers.
Yeah.
That does seem more of a Steelers.
And
thing.
Roethlisberger with 1 fumble.
The Steelers like to win.
Only one, I'll take it.
The Steelers like to win, like with scores that if you're ever on a football poll, you want to like shoot yourself.
Yeah, 25-22.
Yes, only with the Steelers game can you win with these numbers.
No question. How many sacks is Watt going to get tonight?
Oh, that's a good question.
1.5.
With him, like Fields is a very athletic player. It's going to be interesting to see how they contain him.
I'm going to give him 1. I'm going to give him just 1, just because of Fields being mobile.
You got to do a fantasy prediction. I got Najee 86 and 1 tut for sure. 86 and a tut for sure.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Chase Claypool, 5 catches, 60 yards, and a deep touchdown.
Oh, let me write this down.
I hope so.
Marte, what is it?
561.
560 and 1 Claypool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on. I got Harris, 87 rushing and 1 tut at least, 1 TD. Okay.
So Grunt Dad says Steelers.
What do you got?
By more than
what do you got, Paul? What do you got, Paul? You got.
I'm going with the Bears, but I'm going to go with a low scoring game.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with a 6-9 field goal game.
Ooh.
9-6. I was thinking like 16-11.
I believe
I'm gonna go with the low, just because I'm not knowledgeable.
Well, this is a kicker fantasy relevant. So who's the kickers? I need to get your kicker relevant.
So, but I will say that I think that Fields will probably have more than 100 yards rushing.
Ooh, okay.
Kicker. Do we even have Boswell tonight?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
He's on my fantasy team. He better be there.
100 rushing.
Okay.
And what do you got for fantasy purposes? And what do we got for fantasy here?
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, so fantasy, I'm going to say 2 touchdowns to Najee Harris.
Okay.
I'm going to say that he's going to have at least
Total
93 yards. At least 93.
Total 93?
No, 93
rushing.
Well, if it's total, I'm going to say Najee's going to have 130 some yards. 132.
Wow.
I like to have a weird number. 132 yards rushing.
132 total yards.
No, total. I mean total, like rushing and
catching. Got it. I got this written down, gentlemen.
All-purpose yards.
Let's see who comes the closest, man. I got it all written down. I'm very excited about this.
And just for the heck of it, let's give is Fryermuth playing? Let's give him a touchdown too, because he hasn't had one recently.
Dude, you can't have everybody on the roster. God.
Huh?
You can't have everybody.
Didn't he just have a touchdown last week?
He did.
Oh, well,
He did.
He hasn't been doing what he's been doing. But
he did.
Wait, no, wasn't it Gentry that scored last week?
I think both did.
Yeah, I think both.
Okay.
I love where this is headed, though. I like all of it. Fields we could all be right. Who knows? We could all be right.
I could also see Fields getting a rushing touchdown too. Just
Well,
because
not according to Paul's score. Not with Paul's score, he can't. 9-6. I don't know about that.
Unless they missed the field goal or the extra point.
The extra point.
Oh.
No, yeah, they could miss the extra point. They could. All right, guys.
Or maybe Troy Polamalu comes out of retirement and just like scores over the top.
That's awesome.
I would pop for that.
That's
I would
awesome.
too. I'd be a big fan of that.
Well, that's awesome. You're coming up on that hour, man. And
Any last minute things you boys want to share before we pop off here?
man, I just love what everyone besides these dogs have to say in this chat. And the more people that come here, the more questions we get, the more this is going to grow for the hobby and for sports in general. So keep it flowing, everyone. Keep it flowing.
That's a good idea. This break. He said you should do this every Monday night and keep track the rest of the season. We definitely should.
I am.
We're going to be doing this every Monday night moving forward.
Data sheet.
So we'll definitely start that as well. See who comes the closest. It probably won't be me because the only things I'm ever good at predicting are Anderson Varejao coming out of retirement and James Conner being like good at fantasy again. It'll probably be Chef Marte. Mangini Collection, what is going on, my man? Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. But yeah, guys, we are going to get ready to shut down because the Stullers and the Bears are getting ready to start. And, anybody that has one of these on their arm kind of doesn't want to miss that. So definitely appreciate y'all being here. And we will see you again next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And again, guys, we appreciate you.
You just left us.
I'm hurt.
He clicked the wrong button. We could take over his